Recently, we've seen an increasing number of elite athletes speak publicly about how grueling it can be to train and compete at a high level in sport, and the toll that it can take not only physically, but also psychologically. In his documentary, The Weight of Gold, Olympic swimming champion Michael Phelps speaks about his experience with depression and illuminates the mental health struggles that athletes often face. Similarly, greatest of all times Olympic gymnast champion Simone Biles took time away from competition to focus on her mental health. It's not surprising that we're hearing this from athletes. They often face major stressors, such as injury, deselection, pressures from coaches, and performance plateaus in a sport culture that emphasizes winning above all. They do all of this while also navigating stressors in their everyday lives, such as family concerns, illness, and financial instability. The culmination of these collective stressors can engender psychological distress. So these experiences beg the question, how can we better support the psychological well-being of athletes so that they can flourish? To do so, we need to first understand, what does it actually mean for athletes to be psychologically well? Well, there are two different ways in which we can think about well-being. One type of well-being focuses on feeling well. It's called hedonic well-being, which comes from the Greek hedone for pleasure. It's when people experience high levels of positive affect and low levels of negative affect, as well as high degree of life satisfaction. An example in sport might be the feeling of elation one experiences right after winning a big competition. The other type of well-being focuses on functioning well, and it's termed eudaimonic well-being, or psychological well-being, and it refers to living well and actualizing one's potential. Eudaimonic well-being does also involve pleasure like hedonic well-being, but there's more emphasis on purpose, meaning in life, and growth. It's this type of psychological well-being that we are looking to foster in elite athletes, given its long-term association with quality of life. So what might psychological well-being look and feel like for athletes? When studied in sport contexts, researchers have often drawn on Riff's model of psychological well-being, which posits that psychological well-being has 6 different dimensions. This includes 1. Autonomy, when someone feels like they have self-determination and independence. 2. Self-acceptance, when someone has a positive attitude towards themselves. 3. Positive relationships, when someone has trusting relationships with others. 4. Environmental mastery, when someone has the ability to choose environments that are conducive to their needs and values. 5. It includes purpose in life, when someone has a sense of meaning and direction. And finally, 6, it includes personal growth, when someone feels like they're continuously developing. In our research team's work attending to elite athletes' psychological well-being, athletes have shared with us various stories of how their well-being has changed over the course of their athletic careers. To illustrate key themes we saw in and across these various stories, we assembled a vignette that we will call Ryan's Story. Ryan's been competing at the elite level for 10 years in rowing. Throughout her athletic career, she's faced challenges such as stress-fractured ribs, conflict with her coach, and a period of 3 years where her performance was not improving. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Ryan found herself unable to train and compete and started questioning her purpose as an athlete. She wondered, what does rowing mean to me? Could I be doing more with my life? During this time, Ryan's well-being was not great. She lacked purpose, skill progression, and her autonomy and relationships were compromised due to her struggles with her coach. But lately, after changing coaches and training with teammates who push her, she's begun to see improvements in her training. She's also been feeling like she has new direction in rowing. Not only has she started training with the Paris 2024 Olympics in mind, but she's also started volunteering as a youth rowing coach with the hopes of supporting the upcoming generation of rowers. Ryan's well-being lately has been pretty good. It doesn't mean she doesn't experience stressors, but she feels like she's able to navigate them well because she has renewed meaning. She also has an understanding about what she needs in her life to maintain her well-being. This is what athlete well-being can look like. So what can be done to foster athletes' psychological well-being? In research I conducted with my colleagues Lisa Traynor, Andrea Bunden, and Peter Crocker that included interviews with athletes about their experiences of well-being, we took the approach that due to ableism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, racism, and associated social conditions that produce experiences of marginalization, some athletes are facing different challenges than others. Disabled, women, LGBTQ+, and racialized athletes have often faced discrimination and stereotyping, which has compromised their agency to support and protect their own well-being. For example, some LGBTQ+ athletes have shared with us that having to compete in countries where it's illegal and unsafe to be queer has impacted how they feel about themselves, the support they've received from others, and also their autonomy. Our hope is that with learning more about the diverse ways in which athletes experience well-being through this work, that sports sector stakeholders such as coaches, sport organization staff, sports psychologists, mental skills consultants, and athletes themselves can learn ways whereby all athletes can be supported to thrive.